right, everybody. So let's just settle into our meditation posture. And so really, I was just having a conversation with Judith this evening over dinner about how a lot of meditators have kind of like shrinking spines and crooked spines and hunchback and leaning to one side. So, while we're doing these fairly short meditations, it's really good to get into the habit of being aligned. So we can start with the feet. Most people have probably got their feet on the ground and sitting at a computer or something. So have your feet or hips width apart. And really make sure you're sitting on top of your sits bones, those bony protrusions at the base of the pelvis. Because this, while you're sort of on top of your sits bones and not back on your sacrum, this helps to align the spine. And then particularly if you are sitting in the regular cross-legged position, please do have your sits bones slightly raised. Again, this will make sure your sacrum is in the correct alignment and that you don't kind of sink back, and shoulders are aligned with the hips. And then as much as you can, as much as this is available to you, your ears aligned with your shoulders. So as we get older and our muscles start to kind of get a little bit weaker, we just start to go forward, forward, forward. So here, our head is about 13 pounds. So we don't want to just let the head pull your neck and shoulders forward. So you're just tipping from the top of the spine here, very slightly. Just hinge your head slightly forward. Eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose, and the tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. And just relax the jaw. So you don't want constriction in the back of the neck with the chin too high or too low. Just somewhere in the middle. Bring your awareness to the crown of the head and relax your scalp and forehead and eyes and nose and cheeks, the area around your mouth. Relax the back of the neck and the shoulders and the throat and the belly and the back and all of your limbs. And just bring the mind to the breath, just noticing the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. And this is just our opportunity at the end of the day to start to go a little bit inside. And just leave all the busyness out the door, on the other side of the door. So this time is for you. And just be aware if there are sounds in your environment and just allow them to be there. So try not to follow with the mind. And then bring the mind back to the breath and just notice what thoughts are arising. Try and put some space in between your thoughts. Perhaps you can put your thoughts on little white fluffy clouds and just allow them to float away. And just see what happens with that image. Because we have a tendency to grab at our thoughts and then just keep working, chewing on them. But how about if you just allow the thoughts to arise, put them on a cloud and just allow them to float off. And then take a step back, be objective, some kind of observer, and just look at your thoughts as they're arising with just a curiosity and interest, kindness and compassion, fascination. And remembering, however it is you're turning up this evening, it's totally fine. This is just where you're at. So bring to mind all the people of your life. So our loved ones, these are people we have very close relationships with. Maybe they're people you live with. Maybe there's your best friend, your spouse, your children. But these relationships are heartfelt and deep and profound. And then we have relationships with people that we are not super comfortable with. Maybe they make you anxious, or maybe they've really harmed you. And then there's those folks in your life who are complete strangers. Keeping in mind that all of these different groups, the friend, the enemy, the stranger, they can all change place at any time. Remembering that they're all equal, same as you and me, and they wish to be happy and they wish to be free from suffering. So that we'll do this meditation this evening for the benefit of all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings, thinking again, always, this will just be a constant until probably the end of May, and Lama Zopa Rinpoche's swift return. And then also thinking of Israel, who passed away a couple of days ago, and this was his main practice. So he was an extraordinary volunteer, a carpenter. He built a throne for Lama Zopa Rinpoche when he came in 2017. It's kind of extraordinary. So remembering there is no negativity that can't be purified, and this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we're creating negativity with our mind, so equally we can create positivity instead. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And you can think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, just regret all. And the reason to regret is really based on this logic of karma. So we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And so it makes sense logically to pull out these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, Vajrasattva, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And we're not needing Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're using his medicine, his methods, to help to heal ourselves. So you imagine Vajrasattva on the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is your teacher, if you have one, trusted mentor, manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a sweet red mouth. He has a beautiful, radiant face, has really loving, compassionate, kind eyes. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart. The left is underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So here we have a little section on compassion, developing compassion. So we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think of someone you may have harmed recently, maybe in the past, and then think of someone that who's harmed you, just to have a strong sense of compassion for these people, particularly the ones who have harmed you, because they will suffer in the future as a result of the harm they've done to you. So compassion is a much more beneficial approach rather than wanting some kind of revenge. Compassion's a far better way to go. So we start with now we come to the power of remedy, and this is the medicine, and we start with the body. Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dina Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dina Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dita Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dita Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dita Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dita Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dita Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with the body. So next is the purification of speech, and Vajrasattva now very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can just imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and useless and inappropriate speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dita Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dita Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dita Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Tira Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Tira Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Tira Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Tira Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with the speech. And next is the purification of the mind. And Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light, this time from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on the light switch. The light instantly dispels the darkness. So think of that next time you walk into a room if you haven't been doing that already. Just remember the light, you're dispelling darkness rather than turning on a light. So then imagine as the light enters your heart from Vajrasattva's heart, it dispels all the darkness of the negativity of your mind. So all the attachment and neediness and anger and violence, depression, resentment, jealousy, bitterness, grudges, all of this is instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dira Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dira Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dira Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dira Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dira Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dira Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahom pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dita me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa. Anarakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahom pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering, these delusions, the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, just imagine they're all completely purified, they're finished. And think now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And imagine this time Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and this fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from the mind as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahom pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahom pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahom pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahom pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahom pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So now the final step is this power of resolve. This is really crucial. We just have to make a decision that we don't want to harm. And that actually does end up being a very helpful reminder on all levels. Even just saying that, you don't even really need to think of something specific. But it's a good idea to get specific. So think of maybe something that you would like to refrain from for the next 24 hours. Maybe it's something to do with speech, something to do with food. And give yourself a reasonable timeline, 10 seconds even. And overnight while you're sleeping. This kind of determination, this kind of focus It gives us strength to change. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us, wanting to merge with your mind. He melts into light and absorbs into you and through your crown. And so your teacher's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, your own body, speech, and mind all kind of just melt into one. And then a little bit on emptiness. So imagine in emptiness, there is no I, the creative negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So we just place our mind at whatever level we understand emptiness, just place it there for a little while. And we can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. They're all a bunch of, everything's just dependent arisings. We can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit and the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, to Israel, anyone else you know who may be suffering or ill or passed recently, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. For His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Is this Kadrala's one? Michael, is this Kadrala's? I think this might be Kadrala's Swift. Yes, it is. Guru, think of me. Guru, consider me. Gracious Guru, care for me. Root Guru, most gracious and kind, do not deprive us of your compassionate refuge. Listen and consider this heartfelt prayer made by a tormented disciple. Guru, you embody the blessings of the Buddhas of the 3 times. You may rest in great bliss, equipoise within the dhatu of unimpeded luminosity, yet the playful dance of your loving compassion can emanate in myriad ways, the swift appearance of your magical wisdom, the Rupakaya. The time has come for you to care for us once again with your affectionate compassion. I invoke you, I call upon you, I implore you on behalf of all beings, arise, arise, arise from the Dharmakaya. Do not rest in Kachara or other pure celestial realms, rather to benefit the Buddha's teachings and all living beings, swiftly return to this southern continent to spread the Buddha Dharma of study and realization. Quickly return to guide us poor wretched beings, such is the desperate cry of us, your disciples. Return so that we may actually behold your presence and receive the blessings of your enlightened body, speech, and mind. All violations, errors, mistakes, and broken samaya that we have made in relation to your spontaneously present, awakened body, speech, and mind and activity, through our being baffled, confused, and conceiving things in erroneous ways, we confess within the luminous emptiness of your 3 kayas. Of everything auspicious, the supreme auspiciousness, may there be the auspiciousness of emptiness and compassion, conjoined with the emptiness of a timely meeting between Master and the disciples. Through the force of the truth of unchanging suchness, may the unmistaken incarnation return quickly. This lament was made by me, a Dakini with pure faith and samaya, her eyes filled with tears of sorrow. May these wishes of a beggar woman be fulfilled through the blessings of the deities of the 3 roots, perception, its object, and the act of perceiving all dissolve within the expanse, the blissful clarity of suchness. Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long. Now for Geshe-Shura, beloved teacher leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Okay, I'm sorry, everyone. We're a little bit over. Has anybody heard from Hin? Okay, I'm going to email her. I haven't seen her for a couple of days. All right.
Are there any updates on Robina, Venerable Robina?
I contacted my friend, Venerable Senla, and she said Venerable Robina was running around organizing meetings for Lama Zopa Rinpoche's biography and lots of different projects that she's working on. So it does. And then I actually found a video taken by Bill Kane of Venerable Rabina reciting prayers with, I put it on my Facebook page with some other people, some other monks up in front of Rinpoche's holy body. So she was sitting in a chair. She did look okay. If she was really, really sick, she wouldn't have been up there. But, you know, Nepal's not an easy place. The water's not fantastic. Sometimes the food gets bugs in it. So, you know, people come with lots of colds from all over different parts of the world. So there's a lot of people there right now. Anyway, she's up and about. That's all I could say. She's not, does look like she's all right. All right, everybody. Lots of love and take care. And I'll see you tomorrow. And thank you for hosting, Michael. So it was 16 people, right? Okay.